e ver sofrendo comigo, porque não é fácil. Não é fácil. Você tá sendo crucificado e tá calado. Você acha que eu não queria também me pronunciar antes e me defender? Mostrar pro povo quem realmente eu sou? Eu queria isso também.
I avoid women wherever possible. I no longer work with them unless I am observed doing so by other people who have already proven that I can trust them. I no longer do business with women. I do not stay alone with them in the same room, and I do not go alone with them in the elevator. I do not go out with them, and I only look for male business partners. The risk for my own life from the moral unscrupulousness and vindictiveness of women has become too great for me.
I think men have lost their rights. In certain issues, domestic violence, sexual issues, you are guilty.
It's called the Violence Against Women Act, not the Violence Against Family Members Act.
And I mean, that's not right. And so these are horrible problems that exist, and many times men are at fault, but we just assume that men are guilty without any proof.
Men can accuse women of domestic violence as well and play falsely and do the same thing.
So that is the point. That is the point that I'm trying to make, that all those issues can work both ways.
Right, that's the point, Doctor, that gender isn't going to tell you anything about who's being falsely accused, who's guilty of domestic violence, who's guilty of initiating a divorce. Gender doesn't tell you anything meaningful about that. I'm not oppressed just because I'm a woman.
Right.
Lots of men are oppressed in some very real ways. Gender doesn't give you a significant way to understand those issues. We need a bigger, broader, more inclusive, more human way to tackle these issues.
What if I start a rumor that you're a pedo?
You're literally going to stoop that low to start a rumor that I'm a pedo? That's not even something you joke about.
Yeah. Well, you broke my heart, so now I'm going to ruin your career.
Okay, first of all, I don't even know, like, I'm not scared, because I know that's not gonna work. Like, how would you...
How would it not work? How would it not work?
Well, first of all, I'm recording this, so I'm just gonna post it, so everyone knows that you're lying.
Scared. It's just gonna flop like all your other posts. It's gonna get 2 views,
No.
and then you're gonna get embarrassed, and you're gonna delete it, so no one will see it. I'm not scared.
Yeah.
And she wasn't just accusing you of things, she's accusing a lot of other people of other stuff as well. But for you, you're 18 years old, you've done nothing to this woman, and suddenly you're faced with multiple rape and assault charges. What are you thinking?
I was disgusted. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I just felt horrified. I was scared. I didn't know. And then when I found out I was being sent to prison, I said to my mum, I'm not going to be coming out alive because I don't want to go to prison for even if I did do something. So why do I want to go if I'm not doing something wrong?
You were put on the sex offenders wing of Preston Prison.
Yeah.
And you had to share a room with a paedophile.
Yeah, and he told me he pleaded guilty to that offence.
What was the offence?
He sent pictures to an 8-year-old kid.
What did you feel about having to share a cell with someone like that?
I felt sick, like physically sick. Like.
And you were there because the police had concluded that you must be guilty of similar behaviour.
Yeah, and I applied for bail numerous times. My legal team applied for bail, I think 4 times, and I was denied it every single time. And then I just got woke up one morning by the prison staff, and they said, you're in court. And I was confused because I didn't have any notice beforehand. And that's when I went to court and I got out on bail, but I wasn't allowed to go back to my hometown. I had to sign on the police station every 2 days.
And people in your hometown thought you were a rapist?
Yeah, I was named in the paper.
What did they do?
I had rapist spray painted on my house. I had my windows smashed. My mum had to move out of her house because of it all.
And you spent 10 weeks in prison yourself?
Yeah.
So all this is going on, and you're completely innocent.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everybody knows you. You're on the front page of the paper. You've been named. Your family's name has been completely decimated by this. But your accuser, who's made it all up, she remained anonymous.
Yeah, and this is one thing that really confuses me. Why did I get named? But when she was remanded into prison, there was never an article put, she was charged with this, that and the other. Well, there was, but there was no name given. It was just a female. And that's one thing I question a lot.
As agressões.
100%.
Todas.
Todas. Nunca agredi ela.
Você está me dizendo então que todas as acusações da Gabriela são mentirosas?
Mentira.
Nada aconteceu?
Nada aconteceu.
Por que ela está fazendo isso então?
Creio que, como eu disse, teve sentimento, mas entra um pouco de interesse da parte dela.
Qual o interesse?
Começa por ela falar muitas coisas que não são verdade. A maioria das coisas não são verdade.
Você acha que seria sobre aparecer?
Creio que sim.
Mas você acha que é uma maneira positiva de aparecer uma mulher que sofreu violência?
Ela conta uma coisa que é totalmente mentira. Eu falei, pô, eu preciso ir embora. E ela na porta, não, você não vai, não deixou. Tentei ir embora, ela não deixou. Ela se alterou. Ela quebrou o copo, ela quebrou o prato.
No chão ou em você?
No chão, mas jogou na minha direção também. Ela veio pra cima de mim.
E aí o que você faz nesse momento? Segura?
Nesse momento eu segurei ela.
Não foi nesse
Tentei
momento
acalmar.
que você machucou ela?
Não, nenhum momento. Não cheguei a apertar, não cheguei a nada. Falei, calma.
Isso tudo seria
E
antes
depois...
da cabeçada?
Não dei cabeçada nela.
Não?
Não dei cabeçada nela.
Não pode ter sido nesse
Normal,
momento que
tal.
a cabeça dela foi machucada?
Não sei, porque ela não tava machucada. Não sei. E a gente tava lá tudo. E aí eu segurei ela e acalmei ela. E depois do tempo ela acalmou. Eu conversei um pouco e tal. E aí eu fui pra casa, que eu precisava ter alguns outros compromissos com o meu trabalho. Jamais. Eu dar um soco no peito de uma mulher?
E nem segurar?
Como assim? Como eu disse pra você, no momento que ela tava tacando as coisas em mim, eu segurei ela. Mas eu não segurei forte, não. Até porque é diagnosticado que o silicone dela é desde 2020, antes de eu conhecer ela. Ela já tinha um negócio no silicone.
Back in the days, most of the time, you would wait for someone to make the first move. It might be on the first date, it might be the third date, whatever. It could be the man, it could be the woman. But now, all my friends have noticed that the man has stopped making the first move. All my girlfriends are like, they're waiting, it's the third date, fourth date, a week later, he hasn't gone in for the kiss, he doesn't do any touching or anything. And I've asked my dude friends that are single, and they are like, you don't know where a woman's gonna go with that story anymore. I ain't touching nobody. And it sucks because the Me Too movement is so strong and so powerful for the people that need it, but it shouldn't ruin the maturity that we should have within intimacy and relationships.
For today's video, we're going to be talking about this movement that has caused a lot of harm and good. The Me Too movement. Just like feminism, Me Too isn't about female voices. It was in a light jerk circle of rich, privileged individuals who not only made a fortune from it, but abused victims for their own profit. They really don't give a damn about working-class Jessie from Texas who was raped when she tried to apply for an actress job. They probably introduced them to the rapist for benefits. They sat on evidence for decades and never said a thing until they knew they could profit from it. To those who don't know anything about the Me Too movement, here it is on your screen. The Me Too movement is an awareness movement around the issue of sexual harassment and sexual abuse of women in the workplace that grew to prominence in 2017 in response to news reports of sexual abuse by the American film producer Harvey Weinstein. One would think, yes, great movement. Women will feel safe and comfortable around men everywhere. But is this really what has been and is still happening? When this movement blew up in 2017, a lot of women came out. They used the hashtag, talking about how they've been sexually harassed by their colleagues, stepfathers, and many more. Fast forward to 2019-2023. Society has fallen into ruins. False allegations have been flying everywhere. This movement, as far as I know, started a gender war. Before I go on, hit the like and subscribe buttons and click on the notification bell if you've enjoyed this video so far. Back to the video. I think that Me Too may have started, or at least vastly invigorated, the MGTOW movement. Any man who is paying attention now understands that if they are ever alone with a woman, then they are giving that woman the power to destroy their life. Most women will not do this without a justified reason. However, most is not the same as all. A man has to be exceptionally careful before they give this power to a woman that they do not know. I think that it would be a very strange war in which the two sides simply avoid each other
and otherwise go about their lives. However, we clearly have a problem here. The Me Too movement is sexist to men. In fact, I call it the shut up and listen movement. And some people call it the Pound Me Too movement. It could also be called the sexual hypocrisy movement. And while there is an enormous amount of legitimacy in the Me Too movement, there are some serious flaws in how it is being portrayed and promoted. One thing comes to mind. Many women think men should shut up and listen unless they are parroting what is being said by women. The flaw in this is that men have their own stories, and some of them aren't very attractive to women, but those stories are just as legitimate as any story a woman has. Let's look at the stakes. Let's assume I'm the supervisor of a gaming company. What if a woman working on an art piece or coding a module for our game underperforms? What if they don't deliver? Obviously, I would need to reject the current best effort and instruct them to do better. But now, if she is upset, she can just tweet that her supervisor said such and such, which made her feel this and that.
Accusations! These are not accusations. This is false accusations. And
the next day, I will find out that my keycard doesn't work. This will come as a surprise to me because I don't follow Twitter, on which it was announced 3 hours after her tweet that I had lost my job. And not just my job, my entire career was over. No one would hire me in the future for fear of the brigade's attack. I can literally have my career destroyed without ever doing anything wrong. And how do people react to men who deny such allegations? To me, denying it just confirms it, and whatnot. Yes. But what if at a company Christmas party, a drunk female colleague suddenly gropes me? Will it end with her entire career going down in flames? Will she become a pariah of her industry? Will she receive death threats at home? It's okay for women to harass men and reduce them to sex objects. It's literally okay, and some people encourage women to comment on male athletes in their presence as, he has a better ass than the other. Imagine the uproar if a man said such a thing in the presence of a female athlete. I don't know whether she won or not, but she has a great ass. We literally go from one state of unfairness to another state of unfairness without ever even accidentally grazing a place of fairness. Be rude to men, be violent to them, yes, go for it, it's empowering the woman and all. Drive the entire company under the keel because you felt that you didn't receive the appreciation you deserve. They're all sexist pigs and patriarchy. It's okay to take down the whole company if need be. Liberals want to gradually ban all guns because they're afraid of the one person who can ruin someone else's life by abusing a gun. Just the same many men, whether they admit it or not, are afraid of that one woman who can destroy his life. Listen to what this man has to say about the Me Too movement.
Since the Me Too movement has made it clear that it is not too bad to be abused by women for selfish purposes, I avoid women wherever possible. I no longer work with them unless I am observed doing so by other people who have already proven that I can trust them. I no longer do business with women. I do not stay alone with them in the same room. I could not go alone with them in the elevator. I could not go out with them, and I only look for male business partners. The risk for my own life from the moral unscrupulousness and vindictiveness of women has become too great for me. It is therefore a kind of life insurance to leave women alone. I would not help women who are in need any more, because she would thank me for my help by accusing me of sexual harassment, which would have very bad consequences for me. I also recommend all other men to avoid women and let them solve their problems themselves.
Me Too is nothing more than a modern incarceration of old-school chivalry, which, if you think about it, makes it kind of misogynistic. We might not be holding doors open for women on the internet, but we are still giving them preferential treatment in other ways. Not only is this unfair to men, but it also infantilizes women. This double standard implies that women are weaker than men instead of strong and independent, making the woke movement and Me Too a failure for women. Anyway, that's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time. Cheers!